Our next speaker, I don't need to make an introduction of her, but I best, otherwise I'll be in all kinds of trouble when I get home because our final speaker this evening is my wife, Connie Jameson, published author and a wife of an awful lot of years. Not an awful lot of years, so wonderful, wonderful years. Connie Jameson, a published author of 4 books, as I was thinking about that. And her title is Why Children's Picture Books. Why Children's Picture Books. Connie Jameson, qualified speaker and ex-Speakers Bureau chair.
A little engine that could. The Little Red Hen. The Story of Ferdinand. The title of my presentation, Why Children's Picture Books. Well, here are 3 reasons, and there are so many more. Many of you will remember, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, those stories from your childhood or the stories that you've shared with your children, your grandchildren, and how memorable they are. Because children picture books, they're fun stories. They have bright, captivating illustrations, relatable characters, and lessons, morals, words of wisdom hidden in those stories. The little engine that could, determination. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. Although the role, the experience is difficult, it needs to be done. It's an important one. And little engine keeps working at it to completion. The Little Red Hen, the importance again of hard work and of personal initiative, because sometimes you're not going to get the help that you want from others. But if the task is important, you carry forth. And the story of Ferdinand. To thine own self be true. Because Ferdinand, if you recall the story, as he grew, boy, he looked like the perfect one for those bullfights. He looked fierce, and they couldn't wait to get him in that bullfighting ring. But Ferdinand, that wasn't him. He just wanted to sit under the cork tree and smell the flowers. So these are just 3 examples of books that have lessons in them besides just enjoying the story. I recently wrote 3 books, and I hope mine are along the same lines. My first one was called Twinkle Toes. Wasn't called, it is called Twinkle Toes. It's about a little dancing elephant. And she goes to every dance rehearsal, every dance recital. She knows the moves for every person in that production. But what does she do? She practices at home, in her bedroom, in her backyard. Her mother says, I want to see you up on the stage. You're the best one. You know all the moves. No, I'm just a chubby little elephant. I'm not a dancer. Until lead dancer has a terrible accident and we can't go on with the performance unless there's somebody that can take over. Well, she tries to leave the room, but they said, is there anybody that can do it? Ellie can, Ellie can, Ellie can. Here's Ellie, who's always been there to help others. Ellie, can you help us with this? We're having difficulty. Ellie, can you help us with that? But she doesn't believe in herself. And then she realizes all these others do believe in her. So there's Twinkle Toes, an elephant. Then slow down, Tommy Turtle. Tommy Turtle loves his daily walks. He loves seeing his friend Ruff the dog and Miss Kitty the cat and the Mrs. Duckling or Duck and her little ducklings going off for their swim lessons. But what he hates is being slow. When he sees the squirrels scampering all about and Rabbit who comes along, hi, Tommy, bye, Tommy, ha, 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 as he passes him by. Oh, I want to be fast. He finds a skateboard, a discarded skateboard, and he is fast. And whoa, call me Mr. Speedy. But later on, he realizes as he speeds by his friends that he's missing something else in life. And so maybe I need to slow down and take time with my friends. I can still hold on to that skateboard and use it sometimes, but there are times to slow down and enjoy your friends. And hot off the press, Mary Bell's special spot. Mary Bell also enjoys taking a walk around the farmyard with her two friends, Maggie and Molly. And they always, well, it starts out saying, Mary Bell, hurry up, you're going to miss the bus. And the bus is the children coming by every day. And as children will do, they lean out the bus windows, moo, moo. And of course, the cows moo, moo back to them. And everything's fine until one day, Mary Bell just can't leave that delicious patch of grass over there. And she happens to be facing the other direction from her friends. And then something special happens because the kids, instead of saying moo, moo, it's slow down, Mr. Driver, stop, stop. That cow, look, she has a heart. She has a four-leaf clover. She must be lucky. Oh, there's a star. Wow. And suddenly, Mary Bell is the center of attention. Wow, she felt special. No, I can't walk with you girls. I have to pose here. And she started feeling like a movie star. Next day, she doesn't go on the walk with them. I have to pose because some of the kids had even brought their parents and they took pictures. Oh my goodness. She could envision herself, flowers in her hair, ribbons on her tail, her hooves painted a bright, shiny pink, and maybe even jeweled sunglasses. Ooh, she loves it. But as we know, fame can be fleeting. And after a while, everybody had seen her and she wasn't so special anymore. And she didn't feel special. She didn't feel famous. She felt lonely. And so, Molly, Maggie, wait, I'm coming, I'm coming. But what about your special spot, Mary Bell? I know my special spot. It's there under our favorite tree with you, my two friends. So again, lessons that can be shared. Now, what I like about children's picture books is sometimes you can have discussions about these issues about, ooh, is there somebody maybe that's not feeling sure of themselves? And instead of talking about a specific person in the family or in the classroom, you can go through the books to have those discussions. Is somebody being bullied? Is somebody all worried about themselves and not taking part with activities with their friends and so forth? So it's easier sometimes to approach these stories through a picture book. If you're not sure of yourself, such as the twinkle toes, or perhaps in the class, hey, these people aren't helping. We're part of a group and we're supposed to be doing a project like Little Red Hen. And they didn't want to help her. No, I'm too busy. But until she gets her loaf of bread made, if you remember the story, then, oh, yeah, I'd like some of it. Well, wait a minute. You didn't help. You didn't do this part, this part, this part. Or somebody's seeking too much attention and they're forgetting about their friends, leaving them on the sidelines, so to speak. But there are more reasons, I think. And I started thinking about that when I was asked recently, and I've been asked in the past, well, what is the age level for your books? And if I were forced to say, I'd say, well, probably preschool through first grade. But the more I thought about it, I'd say infant to adult, because maybe it's having the book shared, reading the book, or using the book. It can be all of those levels. And let me give you some examples. The reading to, oh, parents, grandparents, that's a very special part of a family unit, that closeness, that bonding. I know my own daughter, Tina, and her husband, bedtime stories with each one of their 3 children, that's a given. That is going to happen each and every day because of its importance. Children enjoy having stories read over and over and over and over and over. And don't you dare try to leave out a page or a paragraph or sometimes a word, because you'll be caught. The children, even though they've heard it, those favorite stories, they like to hear them over and over again. I think it helps. And now I thought about it in today's day and time. Part of that bonding, that closeness, that story time, it's a time to relax, to slow down, just the enjoyment that isn't always there in today's hustle bustle world, not just for us adults, but kids as well. And also how the children will catch you because you try to leave out a paragraph and move on through that book. They're paying attention, which is not always happening as we think it should be. Now, for toddlers and preschoolers, they can start learning about books and reading. They learn to turn the pages. They can sit there and they know, oh, this is what mom or dad or grandma and grandpa do. They turn the pages. They can tell the story just by looking at those pictures. Oh, toddlers, you might want to make sure that they're not teething because you don't want it used for that purpose. As you move up into elementary age, the reading, the practice, they can be practicing to family members as they're learning to read, maybe needing to build their reading skills. Or in a classroom, you can have a more capable reader read to another. You can have older sibling read to younger sibling. Sometimes they have programs in animal shelters where children will read to a dog or read to a cat. Anything for that. Practice, practice, practice. And we might be building some budding Toastmasters, because if you're telling somebody, hey, you want to do a good job, make that story exciting to the other student or the sibling or whoever it might happen to be, or the baby. And so building that vocal variety, trying to make that story be extra fun as you share it. And of course, as I mentioned, the discussions within the family, within the classroom, so important, whereas they might be difficult to bring up and to have otherwise. Now, middle school, high school adults with children's picture books, what's that all about? Well, how about some writing assignments, and having the writing assignments be geared toward writing a story for younger children. Have a challenge, perhaps you're building certain vocabulary words, or you're finding vocabulary words. I don't know if anybody knows this series called Fancy Nancy. And there are new words, and it was a series in every single one of the books. Or Amelia Bedelia, where she does silly things. She misunderstands what objects and expressions are. And so you might ask the students to try to do that type of a story. You might have collaboration with art students to actually make a children's book or books that could be used. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe a fundraiser. Have the books come out. I'm retired now, but those could all be fun activities to be done using this children's picture books. And thinking about other subjects like, is there somebody that you know, your family member or just an acquaintance that you think other people should know about? Your Uncle Henry, what a special person. I wish more people do my uncle. Oh boy, he's just fabulous, or he was, if it's in the past. Okay, tell us about him. Or another place. Perhaps you lived on a farm and these kids in your neighborhood, most of them didn't. Make a story about that, or another time in history. And you could ask that the writers, middle school, high school, or we adults, address something such as maybe bullying or having the underdog win, or who knows? These students probably have their own ideas and can make them come alive and be shared with younger children by writing their own picture books. Right, Mr. Jameson? So children's picture books, yep.